Hi, hi, hi again. It's been a long time. Um, I've had a lot on my mind, and a little bit on my plate, and a little bit of changing things on the painting, and trying to refocus my mind on different things. It felt as if I had this huge kind of paradigm shift or mode of thought train go through me and affect how it is I was moving along prior to this train of thought moving through me. And and it seemed as if it was pulling me away from the painting. Anyway, I decided what I want to do with the painting is paint each element, try to paint one element a day when I'm painting this. Now I got a commission that is still finishing up, which was one of those two clowns. And I'll probably paint a third clown for the guy, but I also got this huge kind of house commission to do some abstracts for this house. And so I plan on going to take a look at the house tomorrow, provided I feel put together and well to do. Um, anyway, so I'm going to paint my kitty on the edge here. That's right, kitty, I'm going to paint you. And I I made a few broad changes to the painting. I knocked back the purple and I made it gray. And I I darkened the green around the grass. And just to do those two things were huge, because painting the purple into gray, it was as if I was gonna wash out all of the clouds. And it kind of came down to me doing that, like saying, okay, I'm just gonna wash them out. I'm gonna cover them up all together. And so I took the brush and I washed it out, and sure enough, the paint went transparent, and it pulled away the purple, and it replaced a lot of purple with gray. And overall, I thought, hey, this looks good. This looks pretty good. So I'll run with it. I'll keep it. I'll go there. Um, anyway, it's a funny thing painting with acrylic with a lot of water. So I did more of an opaque when I was going over the grass, but I just really need to get the background kind of done. And then I realized, okay, for the most part, it's where I want color-wise. I just need to start putting in some of this detail if I'm going to make any headway on this painting whatsoever. Anyway, here I am 4 minutes in. Haven't said too much. Decided not to put on Tiny Chat just because it's been so long since I've done a painting and philosophy video. Good job, Kitty. It's been such a long time since I've done a painting and philosophy video that I I didn't I didn't want it to be a group session. I thought maybe more of a monologue would be appropriate. Um, so some woman online named Ginger Woman commented on this painting on one of the videos saying that she liked the purple because somebody else, I'm not certain who it was, it might have been Carla, mentioned that she didn't like the purple, like why are you doing purple? And anyway, and so this ginger lady said that she liked it and said that it was royal, and it reminded me of painting a purple tie on a Korean man's father. I was doing a family portrait of a Korean family, and I painted it purple, and he said, no, you can't paint it purple because in Korea, purple is the sign of wickedness. It's like the sign of vampires and stuff like that. And so it's disrespectful to put that on my father. So I did that. I also had his hand, the son's hand, on the father's shoulder, and he said, you have to take that off because that's disrespectful to the father also, to put a hand on the shoulder. So it was quite a lesson in South Korean culture, um, maybe just Asian culture in general. But that was some time ago. Hell, maybe Gangnam Style has purple clothes in it, but I don't know. Anyway, so I went to this ginger woman's channel, and she had an art video on there, and she had some Nietzsche quote on one of her videos that said something about pulling off the wraps, the things that wrap you up in life, will reveal a dancing star. Friedrich Nietzsche. And I was like, wow, I've never heard that quote before. And it almost sounds supernatural. It almost sounded like it was something that I might jump onto because it piqued my interest really quickly. Like, really? A dancing star? Maybe there is something going on with this dancing star thing, and it's not just me and Philip K. Dick. Not that he ever mentioned anything about dancing stars, just that he believed he encountered aliens and the supernatural affected him greatly. Waiting for the Red Book. Hopefully I get the Red Book in May, it looks like now. Carl Jung's Red Book. I've only read excerpts of it and other readers' comments on it, but from what I understand is in the book, it's going to be pretty exciting. So psyched about that. I'm drinking a little bit of red wine tonight. First I'd mention that I'm on Abilify, same as Zombie Picture Show is on Abilify for his mental state, I imagine, unless there's some other use of the drug, probably to calm his nerves about his condition. But I'm on it because it doesn't have the nasty side effects that some other drugs have, and I was looking up whether or not alcohol should be, you should drink alcohol on Abilify, and of course it mentions not to, but it mentions that people with mental issues aren't supposed to be drinking anyway, but screw that. A good drink is needed from time to time. Yep. So I bring that up because Greytex did Earl's drinking challenge and drank a 40 ounce in 10 minutes, which was, if you call that YouTube news. I guess that's the YouTube news. Matt Siegel, Thou Art That, did a long video on the history, I think, of, what was it, German idealism in the 19th century, 18th century, 19th century. And I listened to that and I thought it was great. It was really impressive. And what else? Laura Lea's doing a poetry slam sort of thing with a few people that I don't know, that I'm not familiar with. Her poem sounded pretty nice. Pretty wicked, like she was beating him up. How's that coming along? You guys can barely see my little kitty. Ooh. Yeah, the color on this, it's mostly a gray cat, but normally the undercoat, the undercolor is supposed to really, shine through and show up in spots. Whoa. I'll try to get that to shine through. What was I going to mention? I was going to mention soteriology. Eric Orwell did a video on soteriology, and that is salvation. He was talking about the idea of different religious, Buddhist or Christian notions, kind of like the wholesale approach to Christianity and salvation, kind of rubbing his notion of salvation, which is more or less self-salvation. How do you put together your life in a fashion so that the consequence of your life is something, I guess, honorable by those left behind, honorable to a transcendent God, if there's a transcendent God. I think Gary was going off about not liking the word transcendent. Another meaningful word that he would rather not have in the airwaves. He's trying to slowly tick away at the language. It kind of reminds me of the Face What's Ahead guy trying to niggerize the N-word and make it mean human, and what a slow process that would be, trying to change a whole use of a word. I mean, that kind of begs the question of how quickly a meme could travel, memetics could travel in a culture and affect it in the future if it was highlighted somehow. I realize that I'm not trying to get a lot of exposure. If I get exposure, all I want to do with it is market. I want to be a part of a marketing system in order to use that exposure for um, sale of products. I'm not too extra interested in becoming famous or having my word penetrate, because I don't believe that I have um, too extra much to offer. I don't know what my communication goals are, and it challenges me, this teleology, this salvation of self that goes against the wholesale notion of Buddhist nirvana or Christian salvation just based on saying that you believe in Christ and that your sins are covered and that God then saves you. No, it's trying to figure out in my case what my reflection through art as an art form might do in compilation, not any individual piece, but all of the pieces in compilation, in a form or a choreography of sorts, what that might do to impact other people, to see different expressions coming from the same person with, I guess, a narrative of my storyline. I don't know. There's a guy that's filmed a documentary about me, and he's putting it together, but it's going slowly, and I'm just not certain to what extent it's going to make sense out of me, because I'm not really certain that I make sense to people. I think when they tune into my channel, they're not looking for somebody who's making a great deal of sense. And so I have to, I'm aware of that, and I continue it because there's certain gaps that I'm not certain how to communicate, or I'm not even certain how to self-reflect on them in a manner that I can see what somebody else might be wanting of me to express of myself that would to make me look sensical in any fashion whatsoever. I spent a lot of time moving in negation to other ideas. From Anton, the notion of ontology taking primacy over epistemology. That was a weird challenge, arguing against the nature of language with Anton in terms of, the Pirahã's non-recursivity versus Indo-European recursivity, and what it would mean to speak that language, whether or not their language would be considered a broken language. Conference Report had a video up, and I commented on it that I don't think any language is perfect, nor do I think the language is broken. So I differ from Gary in that Gary thinks the language is broken, and I argue that it's reconstructible, that it constructs its use to an acceptable format of communication on almost every step of dialogue. People are reiterating and restating things in order to get, ideas put across to other people. And that's kind of tail's a little darker. That's kind of just a thought about language, space in it. But Yeah, like I was saying, I don't feel personally, um, I mean, maybe I am offering up some some things, some insight to people, and I shouldn't be assuming that I'm not. But for the most part, I assume that I'm not. I assume that other people are their focus, their energy, the manner in which they can take a video and know a direction within it to get to an end point and cover a topic at the beginning and then have a body and then have a nice ending with a meaning. Um, that kind of that kind of ability is something that I seem to only possess periodically, and the people that do possess it, I think, are the ones worth watching. I feel like I'm more of an intermission, I'm more of an intermission type of experience. Something like a commercial. I'm a commercial that isn't selling anything just yet. That's the other thing is my intonations. I don't focus my intonations and make them poignant enough such that I'm really exercising the idea and getting it out and having a robust exercise of the idea. Let's see what I can show here. 22 minutes. Wow. I put you guys through that for 22 minutes. Man, maybe I got some grease on my camera. Yeah, it doesn't look any better in the camera. Well, darks. I didn't put any darks in. I'm reluctant to continue the video already because I've kind of said my piece for the evening. I had some other ideas in mind, but when I'm self-deprecating so much in a light manner, maybe it's good to end on a high note. But I know some people, they really enjoy longer videos. They like to hear people drill on about damn near anything. And so, I don't want to disappoint those people that like a long, drawn-out video. But yeah, what to say about, like I get very, very insecure in my own head about a lot of things a lot of time. And it seems to really drag on, and it seems like a superficial insecurity. It seems really superficial, and yet it seems as if it comes about anyway, and it kind of plagues me a little bit. And I'm left plagued with this what am I supposed to do with this situation I'm in right now? I look at how and what it is I've built my life up to, and I've subtracted a great many things out of my life that in hindsight, I really wish I didn't go that route and subtract so many beautiful things and amazing relationships out of my life. But some of it was out of my hands, and a lot of it was in reaction to other people, just dealing with other people, how other people live their lives, and what it is they think, and what it is they do, and how it is they're put together, and how much can you stand. I really feel like I'm an open person. I listen to people a lot. I take in a lot of vantage points. But I guess when it comes down to proximity, like, and who do I love, you know, and why do I walk away, or why did I walk away from love, and what have I learned from it? I learned not to walk away from love anymore. But there's also the issue of what am I not able to put up with? What is just an irreconcilable difference between me and certain people? And I guess this comes down to, the idea of being lucky in love. When you recognize love and you see your chance and you take it, and you find romance, you know, then you can be lucky in love. And if you mess with that scenario, then you're liable to start walking the lone path. And when you get older, that path dilates quite significantly more. Your odds of picking up where you left off before are, they become a little bit slower, at least in my life they have. So I think that's a general pattern of life. Um, So, recognizing when you're in love is important, and not challenging that for the sake of of what's on the other side. What does it mean to let this go and see what happens? Something very stupid. So I was at the grocery store today, and there was this red-headed woman with her hair in braids, and she had red eyebrows, and she was wearing green, and we started talking about how a lot of redheads wear green to complement their hair. And it just dawned on me what a unique beauty she was. And here she is, a working class woman packing groceries away. And I sat there thinking that a lot of beautiful young people don't understand how quickly their youthful beauty might be swept away, and that if they ever had a chance of wanting to exercise their vanity, they have to do it at an early age if they're going to do it. And some of them are way too modest and would never outwardly exercise their vanity. But I've met a few young, when they were younger, they were very beautiful women. I mean, they're still very beautiful women, but as they matured, they regretted somehow that they didn't exercise their vanity, and and see how the population at large responded to that. They were too modest, or they were too high and mighty about their their position. But I don't know. I like mature women. I don't like young women. I don't like women in their 20s, meaning I haven't found anyone in their 20s. I don't really communicate with them. Um, And I think that for the most part, I wouldn't be able to gather much out of the conversation. But that's just an assumption. That's just a generalization on my part. Kind of general experience. And I don't know why I'm mentioning that, other than, you know, I've got to keep my eyes open for the next great love, because I don't like not having shared memories. I was with one woman and her memory was so great about so many things, and she would just recall events and it would inspire my memory. And I was like, yeah, that's right, we did do that, and that was said there, and so forth and so on. And it really made me feel more rich about my own life, just having that mind around me and having that shared experience, where since I don't give myself so much credit, I don't tend to memorize my day-to-day, you know, even if I have clever ideas and things like that, I don't tend to remember them. And so when I don't remember them, you know, then even if they're nice, you know, later on I might want or wish that I had memorized something about my day, you know, or and I don't keep a journal. I mean, I have a journal on my computer and I write in it periodically, very rarely. But it's this whole idea of building moments in your mind that I kind of stopped doing it, because this idea of you build moments in your mind about who you are relative to your own memory. So if you're not exercising your memory and really self-ingratiating your idea of yourself, then how is it you do save yourself to yourself? How do you look at yourself and think, you know, I'm a beautiful person, or I'm a worthy, you know, part of the cosmos, or I'm a worthy, you know, person to know. And, you know, if everything about your life is mundane and drab in your own mind, then, you know, it's hard to find. You know, it's interesting because I have friends that get a lot out of me, where it's kind of weird. It's almost like, wow, I don't get a lot out of me, you know. But I sure would like to have myself as a friend. I think it would be, you know, I know exactly what I know exactly what I was thinking, and exactly could empathize with myself in tremendous ways. Yeah, I'll be lucky to be painting these videos since I've got this commission, but I counted, I don't know, there's like 70 items in here that would need to be worked out, and I thought 70 days, if I did one item a day, that'd be 70 days. That's just tremendous. That's overkill. Anyway, so what to say about, you know, philosophy relative to this idea of salvaging oneself, relative to their community, relative to your own sense. If you're a theist, saving, you know, being worthy of God, in so to speak, that, you know, I was watching this guy that was an atheist that turned theist, not unlike myself, and he was an artist, and he had a near-death experience. It was on the near-death channel. And he said something that what was most important to God, because he said he met Christ when he had his near-death experience, was that it was how you related to other people was what was most important in Christ's consciousness or in Christ's view. How you treated other people, how you authentically felt about other people. Did you really, really care for them? Did you really, really, want to make the most out of your relationship with them? Or were you careless? Were you harsh? And I thought, wow, that's just an interesting thing to hear, regardless of your religious, take on the universe. The whole relationship to other people, the self and other, the thee and the thou, is it's a real complex one. That's why, I really do appreciate the interaction that I've had. It's unexpected. The personalities are really unexpected. And I guess that is to say that, in a way, I was expecting a certain type of reaction to my video or a certain type of crowd that would like to listen to my videos. And it turns out that it's, these are very unique people with very, very interesting takes on their universe. And they're out there watching me, and who would have thought? I mean, I don't know who you are. I was watching a Benjamin Smith video, and he was going on like, look, all I'm doing is talking to a camera, and I don't know who you are. And I don't know who the majority of people are who are watching me. And I keep getting the sensation that some people know me in real life that are keeping tabs on me, and that they do know me on here. And that's kind of an odd feeling to have. But anyway, let's see how this looks now. 40 minutes of cat painting. A little more detail, maybe. Did I put you guys through all that? All right. Well, I could go on and on and on and on. Not really. I don't think I could go on and on. I can go on a little bit more. I wondered what am I gonna wish I didn't reveal about myself online? Is it that I drink? Is it that I'm in pain? Is it the stories I tell, the philosophy I have? Is it just my general mopey, as Anton might call me, a sour grape attitude? Which I can't really say that I'm a sour grape, but I think I wanted something to be like I want to express a vulnerable side of myself, but even when I'm with myself and I have these emotions of vulnerability, all I have are little word snippets to say. I don't have the reflective power to step back and analyze what it is I've done to myself in that thinking process. meaning enough to state it. And I guess I'm trying to make a video to myself here in hopes that I learn to, you know, pick up a journal again and try to write down some of these subtle thoughts. And so I have a means of expressing them, because there feels like there's a gap in what can be said about vulnerability, and about, like, there was, you know, when I got this commission the other day, and I was just, you know, I was upset at the painting I was painting on because it's not moving forward. I'm not putting in the time properly. I'm upset because the clown commission, the guy stopped communicating with me after we had a really high energy conversation. And I was kind of down on myself and on things. And then out of the blue, I get a phone call from this guy that wants these paintings, and it just lifted me up. It just totally closed the door on this other stuff. And automatically, even though I've got this spare time and I'm not, it's like, instead of pondering the painting, it's like, get up off your ass and do something. Because I figured, hey, I have 4 hours roughly before I go to bed. What can I do in 4 hours? And that's what I told myself. Okay, you can paint, you can email people, you can clean. What are you going to do? You know? And the thing is that there's a lot of lonely people on YouTube, as you probably realize. There's a lot of people that are in isolation with one another, and that we find solace in this communication back and forth in some way. It relieves a sense of loneliness and solace, just being able to express a voice on anything to anybody and gather feedback, and just to know that it's out there, just to know, oh, that many people have seen it. You know, it's weird because I don't know. I probably sound like a needy man because I'm feeling more and more needy. I realize the limitations of relationships that I have in terms of romantic possibility, but I'm also, okay, here's a thing. My brother knows a guy that has no legs, that needs a place to stay. And he brought up the idea of him staying with me. And I thought I would become, in a certain sense, a bit of a caregiver, in that I'd probably have to help him dump his urine out every day. I'd have to check on him multiple times. And I would develop this really weird relationship with this guy. But this guy also uses a lot of drugs, and he's really depressed, and he carries guns, and he plays a lot of video games, and I don't play video games. And so, well, I shouldn't say I don't, it's just I haven't. Anyway, but the idea of bringing somebody in close quarters. Well, I used to live in a motorhome, and I'd have my girlfriend lived in the motorhome with me at the time, and it was almost as if the size of your space was the size of how quickly your mind and your idea ricocheted off of ideas. And the architecture and how spacious a room is really changes your thought patterns. It really changes how it is you perceive the world, and literally literally a ricocheting off the wall an idea, how closely or far you are to things, what the possibility of movement is, what's the projection or the trajectory of your focus. All this plays a role. And so to bring somebody into close quarters is really what my contemplation is about. I mean, I brought a cat in. Now that I have my cat, the cat takes up the space in an interesting way. The way it climbs on things, the way it meows, the way it gets on top of me, the way it goes after food and plays. And so it interrupts the space and it takes control of the space. And it commands a lot of the space and it commands my attention. And so I guess I'm missing, when I say I'm missing my ex-girlfriends or my old loves, part of this is I'm missing somebody to share in close quarters. And it's not even a sexual thing. It's strictly a proximity thing and being alive with somebody. Anyway, I'm going on and on. But the computer, we always have the safety of the computer because then the person that's talking is over there. You know, it's inside the computer. It's through the wire. It's out of your place. You can pause them. You can rewind them. You can stop them. I'll end you, man. I'll end you. Sorry to do that. Anyway, it's just this idea of ending. You know, you can see when that video is coming to an end. You know, you don't do that in real life. You know, that's the thing. There's the difference. And so I don't know. I saw that movie Her, where the guy falls in love with his OS computer system. And something like that, something talking into your ear that's aware of your environment, that's interacting with you, is an interesting idea. It's almost as if that's the definition of what a relationship is. And all of this, a lot of this video is coming on the shoreline of the wake of me getting into an argument with an ex-girlfriend that lives out of state, to the point where we won't be talking anytime soon because, well, because of texts being sent. And so it feels like there's going to be another gap of space, even just another step back, another relationship that's oh, there's my roller, that's maimed a little bit and needs, you know, it's going to need some nourishment and some health. And there's a lot of relationships that are on rocky roads, and so when I have a job to do and it's right up my alley, it somehow fulfills it. It feels like one door closed and another door open in some other way. Not that I'm reading anything into it coincidentally, like I'm not awe-inspired by that as a coincidence, but I'm not awe-inspired, but I'm awed, like, yeah, like I'm happy about it. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Yep, yeah, feel free to comment again on anything that you would like. I enjoy comments. Even if I don't respond to them, I sure enjoy getting them. But I'm just going to count how many views I get. Oh yeah, that's so important to me. Not really. Okay, bye now.